Jeez, oh man.
Hey, Mitch. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Put you on speakerphone. Okay, Mitch is on speakerphone.
Who's roll coming? No.
No.
Which is on speaker.
Yeah, Mitch is on.
What is it? Yeah.
As soon as Kristen gets back, we'll wait till Kristen gets back. Okay, we'll call the regular meeting of December 17th, 2024. December 17th, 2024 to order at 5 o'clock. Roll call.
White,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
Hoheisel,
Here.
Lassie,
Here.
Lossing.
Here. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public input. Do we have any public input today?
Yeah, I'd like to say something if I could. I just want to thank all the residents of the city of Babbitt. I've been on the council for 13 years. This is my last council meeting. Thank you. Went through a lot. Changes. Town is looking good. We went through COVID and all kinds of changes. And I just want to say,
I would just like to send my thank you out to both Paul and Glenn for all the time and dedication over the years. Glenn, how many years have you put in here?
Can't even count. 5 as mayor. That'd be at least
Lots.
6. Yeah.
Lots of years. And not only these guys spend all the time doing this for the city of Babbitt on the council and being mayor, they both are also involved in other things, honor guard and volunteering. Glenn spends a lot of time with the Snowmobile ATV Club and stuff like this. It's community members like these guys that push things along in our community and hold it up in the air. So I hope our community will recognize and honor all the time that they've spent and given to our community. So I thank you for that.
And I would like to add my 2 cents worth. I served with both Paul and Glenn now for quite a number of years, and I have the greatest respect and admiration for them and for their dedication and their service to the town. They put in a lot of time, and not just at the council meetings, but both of these men have really added to the character of the town, and they exercise good judgment and sound character. Gonna miss you guys. You've done a
Thank you,
great
Jim.
job. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jim.
I'll just say thank you, guys.
Thanks.
for the friendships and for the continued relationship we'll have.
Okay, any other public input? Okay, we'll move on to additions and or deletions. Item A, we'll move 9A1 to new business, which is Recreation Committee. We'll move that to new business.
Just 19.1, matching funds for the culture and tourism grant.
It's already on there.
Right, but Caitlin didn't want it under committee.
Oh,
reports.
gotcha. Okay. And then B, we're adding public safety hiring. So that will go under L on new business.
The matching funds or the public safety?
No, the public safety, the matching funds thing is already moved to 9A1.
No, we're moving it from 9A1 to
To somewhere
new
else.
business, so that'll be 10L.
Okay. 10M,
L.
And it would be the,
you're saying that'll be 10L, and then public safety would be 10M.
Make motion to accept the additions as presented.
I'll second
Motion by Hoheisel, second by White to accept additions and deletions. Discussion? All in favor?
it. Aye.
Consent agenda. Item A, approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 3rd, 2024. Approval of all bills and payrolls is audited by the audit committee with addition of ATV and Snowmobile Club, Babbitt Weekly, CTC, Lake Country Power, Range Cooperatives, and US Bank. C, overtime report, and D, correspondence. Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion by Lossing, second by Hoheisel to accept consent agenda. Discussion. Just a correction on 6A, which should be the minutes of the last meeting. On my vote on the levy, that was a no vote. Do you want to correct that, just for the record? Okay. Any other discussion on the consent agenda?
I had a question on the overtime report. I was curious why we have casual labor guys on the PD. How come they don't cover down on some of these shifts to take up some of the overtime?
They cover when they're available. Right now, every single one of us part-time is full-time elsewhere. So if
Okay.
there's other jobs, it's like most of our surrounding police departments. I'm sure.
So you do try to, but they weren't available.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I try to get offered the shifts before it goes to the full-time.
2 of those shifts
Okay.
were on a holiday, so they get overtime for that anyway.
Okay. I was just curious. I'd heard different things. I didn't get a chance to talk to you offline. So. Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
White,
Yes.
Anderson.
yes,
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. Item 7, attorney's report. No attorney today?
Yeah.
Mayor
Oh.
and council,
Sorry.
Mayor, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Mitch.
Yeah, hi, Mayor. Yep, so just, this is also my last meeting, as a Babbitt city attorney, because I'm, retiring from private practice at the end of, this year, so, also wanted to, thank all of you, for, many good years, and also, with Glenn and Paul, obviously, we go way back for many, many years, with them serving on the city council, and it's been a great honor and a pleasure to have served as a city attorney, going back so many years and made, so many good friendships with everybody up there. And it's just Babbitt is just a phenomenal community. And the one thing about Babbitt that has always impressed me is how engaged people are in their city government. The citizens and residents care deeply about that community. You have many people who are sort of interested in serving on boards and commissions and serving on the city council. You've got many good people over the years, serving as mayor and city councilors, because, people are just so willing to be engaged and, have a real interest in being active in their community. In other places that's dropped off a lot. You just don't see that level of civic participation in general in other places, but in Babbitt, it's always stayed really strong. And I think that's because you have a great community and you have people who care very deeply about the community. So I just wanted to wish all of you the best and happy holidays, and I'm sure I'll be seeing all of you around sometime, but it's truly been a pleasure.
You too, Mitch. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Mitch. Been a pleasure working with you.
Yep, thank you for your guidance, Mitch.
Yep, okay, yep, sounds good. And then otherwise, Mayor, I have nothing.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Moving on to unfinished business. 8A would be October summary of funds.
I went in this morning and had a little meeting with Rebecca, me and my wife Kathy, and we went over the summary of city funds a little bit. And as of this point in time, I cannot accept the summary of city fund as presented. I asked for a report for this evening and I never received it. So with that, I'm against it. Should all council have it?
It's coming down the line.
I'm a little busy today, so I didn't get done until the end of the day.
Isn't that what all these, it's not in this
This
huge
is the
thick
new one.
packet? Oh, that's
Yeah,
the new
That's the
one.
new one?
So these 30 pages right here or nothing?
Okay. So the one we have here is, we can tear up or throw away.
Yeah, it's the same
How many-
one.
how many
It's in the
pages?
packet.
2 trees.
3. So we can just get rid of the first 3 pages, okay?
I will accept these numbers. Thank you, Becky.
Can you, where,
What
I guess what are the-
I'm looking at
the
is,
change, I guess, without the work that you and Kathy have done right here,
the very first page,
okay,
the balance of 1/1/24, the bottom states that it's $4,412,714.09.
uh-huh,
The next page, the 101 general city funds starts with that number. The number we received 2 weeks ago was $300,000 off. Now it's correct. And if you go right down every column, that's the beginning balance on the second page should be the ending balance on the first page. If you see, there's just a few dollars off, but I can accept that.
No, so the beginning balances on the second page, there were some, well, I took out the 418 on the last one because that was a closed count. So, but I put it back in there so that the numbers
Right.
add up.
Yep.
So,
But with that, I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the summary of city funds for the month of October.
I'll second the motion.
And like I said, once again, thank you, Rebecca.
welcome. Thank you for coming in.
motion by Hoheisel, second by Lassie to accept the October summary of funds. Discussion. So what had to be changed, or what was missing, or
well, if you wanna come into my office and we can.
Well, I
talk
don't,
about it,
but I
or
guess,
afterwards. There was just, so 418, I took that out because that account will be closed,
145.
but because there's we still move money and things out of there, we still need that balance in there. So that was the main part of it. There were a couple other numbers, that I mistyped, basically. So we just I sat down with Kathy and Paul and we just went over it and made sure all the numbers were correct.
okay, any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
White,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Yes.
Lossing.
No. Moving on to B, ambulance meeting with Paul McDonald and Joe Baldridge.
Well, I guess I missed last council meeting for being sick. So basically, Paul McDonald, he is the I'm in a brain cramp. I was up late last night on ambulance runs. He's a county commissioner for Lake County. He works hand in hand, really close with the Ely Ambulance Department. So he wanted to get together with director of Ely Ambulance and some of the personnel, and we wanted to start working together and discuss how they get their funding for their ambulance department, how it is that Babbitt has been able to stay in the positive for all these years without really any taxpayer funding. Ely is strictly taxpayer funded. So Ely gets their funding from a Lake County tax. They get like $500,000 every year from Lake County residents. They get a big check from the county board each year for a little over $500,000, and that's what pays for their ambulance service. Babbitt Ambulance does not receive. We get some tax money. I think it's $15,000 from Babbitt and $15,000 from the organized townships. So we get $30,000 a year, and that was a deal that Babbitt made with the organized townships that they would only contribute if Babbitt contributed. So that's pretty much all we get, which really doesn't do anything for the service. It's very small potatoes in how much it costs to operate a service per year. So they were curious how we do that. And how we do that is we are a volunteer service. I mean, we don't make a lot of money for being on call. We do what we can. So we are the true definition of an on-call service. We are in a position with all small towns in regions. We're discussing looking forward. Eventually, we're going to have to make some changes. The services up here they're just not going to survive. I mean, it's getting harder and harder with the way Medicare works. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but when you have people that don't have to pay for health care and people that pay some and everybody has to pitch in. So an example would be we do an ALS transport, let's say. The bill for that would be like $3,000 something for just a basic ALS transport, $20 a load a mile. Well, our ambulance service will see like $1,030 of that when they're all done with it in most cases. And then you got to pay for the maintenance, the gas in the vehicle, the operators to drive depending upon where they go. We're not making a lot of money on those transports. BLS transports, which is what most of our service is just your EMTs, not your ALS, your advanced lifesavers. We make even less on those runs. So Virginia and other full-time services where they're already paying their employees a full-time wage and have all their benefits and that, they make money doing transports because their employees are only making their hourly wage. They're already paying them anyway. So when they do the transports, that's just extra money added to the service. They're already there. They do those runs to Duluth back and forth. That's an hour drive for Virginia. They make a killing on those transports. So they get $3-4 million a year doing stuff like that. Babbitt, we don't see that much of an increase. I looked at the budget with Rebecca and Sarah over the first couple of years that
Matt was running that when they were doing a lot of ALS transports. When we did a ton of transports, ALS and BLS, we only saw maybe a $20,000 a year difference increase in revenue. It wasn't a high increase in revenue. So we're not going to be able to make up being able to hire people full time by doing transports. It's just not going to happen that way. So we're going to have to eventually, if it comes to that, to cover day shifts, which we're looking at other options, maybe hiring, maybe somebody like, see if Kirsten wouldn't mind taking an EMT course and getting some extra pay through the city or other avenues like that, other city employees, or else we're going to have to look at getting with Paul McDonald. The state legislature already passed that they can do a tax in St. Louis County and divvy up the revenue for residents. I don't feel that it would be fair to impose a tax as a council member on the city of Babbitt to cover an ambulance cost for us to serve when 60% of our calls aren't even in the city of Babbitt. It should be fair within our entire PSA, which includes some town of Morris areas. It includes a lot of Embarrass. It includes several other townships, Isabella, and areas like that. I think it should be an EMS tax throughout the entire St. Louis County and Lake County area, and that they divvy that tax up between all the services that are within those areas. I think if they did something like that, there would be enough money to go to the services where we could afford to have. For Babbitt, we'd only need a part-time, full-time, which would be like just a full-time day shift. We'd easily get enough finances to do that. Think of a police department. Our police department budget's about $750,000 a year for a full-time department. So you can figure if you have a half department, you're looking at $380,000 a year. When you look at benefits, they're going to end up unionizing and stuff like that. So you can figure close to $400,000 for a department to run realistically. So you have to think of these things in realistic terms going down the road. We can't afford that right now. Thankfully, we have enough people, which we'll read about in the report later, that are willing to serve and do the volunteer time. We're up to right now about 85 to 90% on-call coverage right now each week doing the volunteer service. So we're making it. And part of that meeting with Paul and, or not with Paul didn't show up, but with Joe and working with the Ely director, Dusty, and them helping us out when we're short. I call them up if we don't have coverage, and Ely covers for us. It's been working out pretty good for us. So that's what that conversation is about. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer in reference to what else we talked about in that meeting? That was about the gist of it, was how we can work together as departments. We do. Both Ely and Babbitt do not feel that merging with the Ely Hospital would benefit any of the cities on any level. The talk of the 100% funding that they might get from Medicare doesn't do us a hill of beans. It doesn't matter what they get. It's not going to benefit the city of Babbitt any. Once we lose our license, I mean, yeah, they say we can get it back. Yeah, we can get it back. But once we're done, and if we ever were to lose our service or give it all up, you can't just, okay, we're going to start up a service today. Ambulances are $300,000 a rig. Once we're done, we're done. We lost all that stuff. It's going to be $1 million to start up a service. And they're not prepared at Ely on any level. If they are, they're lying about the financing of it. Any professional business that would start something up like that would have a business model for you and be able to present it to you and say, this is what it's going to cost to operate. They can't even come up with that. So I would like to see what that's going to be, because it's going to end up costing the city of Babbitt money. Because once they get done, they're going to say, if you want an ambulance in Babbitt, you're going to have to start forking over this kind of money. Because like I just said, our police department, $750,000 a year to operate. What do you think it's going to cost to have an ambulance service staffed with a paramedic and an EMT at 24 hours a day with an ambulance? They're going to have a place to stay 24 hours a day. They're going to have beds to sleep in. It's going to cost money. They're talking about doing that in Ely, Babbitt, and Tower. That's a lot of money that they're talking about. And I haven't seen where they're going to come up with that money. Yeah, they're talking about taxing the PSA, which, well, why don't we do that now? And then our services don't need to join and help them, and we can do all the transports they need. So that was what the discussion was about.
Thanks, Joe. Moving on. Unfinished business item number 9, committee reports, starting with the Recreation Committee.
Do you want to talk about all these fees at once, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. So there was just a recommendation to change fees out of our last meeting. Currently, the men's league season pass is 70, the recommendation is to drop it to 60. Currently, the damage deposit for the teen center rental is $200, the recommendation is to drop it to 50. And then there was a request from the public for an all-encompassing arena season pass that would include men's league, open skating, and open hockey all together, and the recommended fee for that is $100. And then we also recommended that the arena activity fee be $0 for ages 5 and under for all programs at the arena.
So we're just asking to get that on the fee schedule as we go forward.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah, just all those adjustments to the
Mhm.
fee schedule.
So most of this hasn't changed a lot. The damage deposit for the teen center was probably the biggest change, correct?
Yeah, that would be the biggest change.
And I think where that was coming from, Caitlin thought that was kind of a detrimental thing on getting people to actually use it.
To rent it, yeah, we've only had, I think, 2 rentals since we opened that up, and I think the fee just turns them away. We've had a few other people call to ask, and then they never follow through, which tells me they either found something else or it's the fee.
So,
Do we set the new fee schedule first of the year again? So the
Yeah.
next council would take this under advisement,
Yeah.
not this.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
so we can just roll that forward and vote on it when we do the fees next
Yeah, that's fine.
meeting. So,
Sorry, I didn't know.
Well, I think the thing to do is when they put the fees, I'll put these in there under red so that they see,
Okay,
Yeah.
you know, that staff thing, so that they see what we changed from one year to the other. It's usually what we've done in each.
okay.
So you're not behind, you're right ahead of the game. Thanks.
and then, did you want to talk about item number 1, or did you?
Well, that got moved.
Oh, yeah, that got moved. Yep, gotcha. Okay. So no action there. Moving on to new business.
Yeah, public safety.
Public safety recommendation for hiring, new hire for PD.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we moved that down to.
Oh, that's right.
Business.
Yeah, so. there we go.
You're good.
So we are moving to new
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Moving on to new business. 2024 department accomplishments. Looks like the library is up first.
Do we need to read these?
Well, we all,
I read them, well,
we
I
went through
skimmed
them.
them, yeah.
Unless the department heads want to highlight something or stop. If you guys want to take some time, you can. Otherwise, we've looked at them. Everybody's had busy years. There's been a lot accomplished by all the departments. Lots of good things going on. And this packet is available it would be nice for the community to see this somehow or another.
Most should be displayed in each department for a little bit,
Right.
a couple weeks.
Well, the thing is most people aren't gonna go to the minutes or, go to the agenda and look. So I don't know if there's any way we can,
We could post the accomplishments on our window, or just, anybody that wants to read it or have a copy, they can, it's online, so.
okay. Maybe, could we put a little blurb in the paper that it is online, that the accomplishments, so people, if they want to look at it? Yeah, I think, people are always wondering what their money's going for. This is telling them what's going on right here.
We're on TV and we got the press sitting right here, so hopefully they'll
Now,
put it in the Battle Weekly for us.
Yeah.
So
This is all news. I'll bring all this home for you. This is all news. Yes. Okay. He can take what he wants out of there. So, all right. Moving on to, let's see. Terrace Redzewski resignation from the Public Safety Committee effective December 31st. We got a letter.
I want to go back.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I seen the Babbitt, the wreck, the ambulance. I did not see front office.
No, that will be coming next month.
Next month.
Yep, I took some vacation and did not have time to get my own. So, I want to do a little bit more than just my office too. I want to do a little bit on the city on what we've accomplished in 24.
All right. Good. So a little letter from Terry here. Oh, maybe I can't read it. I'm turning in my resignation at this time from Babbitt Public Safety Committee. This will be effective 31st December 2024. It has been an honor to serve the people of Babbitt in one capacity or another since 1981. I want to thank the city for all this honor. Respectfully, Terry Svedajewski.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation and make sure we send Terry a letter of appreciation.
I'll second that.
Motion by Hoheisel, second by Lassie,
No, by,
or Hoheisel, discussion.
second by Glenn.
By what? Anderson.
Okay, let's start over. Motion by Hoheisel, second by Anderson. Some things never change. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
School forest. Is there something in here on
I
that?
didn't get any more information. They were thinking about probably once the snow is,
So-
we'll take a walk and.
I can kind of just give a little
Yeah.
briefing on this. So, the principal, what's his-
Vukmanich.
how do you pronounce his name again?
Vukmanich.
Vukmanich,
There you
yes. Mr. Vukmanich contacted me, on a couple things. One was the school is looking for a forest for science class. So they can do field trips and they can go out and do studying and they've done this before. And they're looking if the city of Babbitt has a spot for them. And Rebecca had some conversation with them.
Yep.
And I think Tony, you can get involved in this. I think that there's a spot just south of they want it within walking distance and something that's not all wet, and don't we own 40 right south of the sewer plant still right there? Yeah, and that probably could be a good spot. It's fairly high ground right there. So unless they come up with something that they'd rather have, I mean, anything to the north of that starts to get wet, it's part of our drainage system all the way out there. So, but that's what that was about. They were looking for something, and I forwarded it to Rebecca. She's had some contact with them. So when something gets a little farther down the road, you can give us a report on what it's about. So, okay, moving on. D, MPCA Small Cities Grant for Stormwater. There wasn't nothing on that either, was there?
Yeah, we had provided Becky with information on the small cities stormwater grant application. It's very similar to the previous application we were looking at submitting for. The only difference is the only communities that are eligible are communities under population of 10,000. So we were recommending that the city, it's gonna be almost the same application as we were looking at before, that the city will assist the city to revamp the application and submit for the small cities program as well.
I didn't have a resolution, so I couldn't get that printed out for you yet, but we can do that next and they can get the go ahead.
So at this point, it's just informative, no action taken.
Yeah, I think it's authorization for the city to submit for the grant. That is out there. It has a due date, I think, in January.
January 15th.
Yep. to apply for and accept small communities grant funding from MTCA.
Well, then we should vote on, then we should,
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and authorize staff to apply for this grant. Stormwater.
I'll second it. Motion by Anderson, second by Lawson, to apply for the MPCA Small Cities Grant for Stormwater. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Letter E. Hudson Kingston. Come on up, Hudson.
Thanks for having me. So my name is Hudson Kingston. I'm a resident of Fall Lake Township, and I'm here on behalf of the Ely Dark Skies Festival, which is a new thing that's happening next January on the 10th and 11th. And it's supposed to be sort of a nice tourism boost to have folks come around and learn about astronomy and dark skies. And maybe it won't be cloudy, maybe it will be, but if it's not cloudy, folks are going to go out in certain areas and look up at the northern lights and what's available there. What is in your packet is a proclamation that's now been adopted by Winton, Fall Lake Township, Ely, and Morse Township had considered it, but they didn't have enough time to get it exactly how they wanted it, so they've endorsed the event but not the proclamation. And I just wanted to make sure that that Babbitt was included in sort of the fun and had the opportunity to join with this too. I'm happy to answer anything about the document. I didn't write it entirely myself, but I'll try to answer any questions you have about it. And as you know about proclamations already, this doesn't really have any policy impact. It just sort of says, whereas we have really great dark skies and whereas winter tourism is important, we think that this is a good thing that folks are doing. I mean, that's a very quick summary of a 1.5 page document. But yeah, it'd be great if Babbitt could be included. And I will be going to Eagles Nest's meeting tomorrow, so I'm trying to get everybody if I can.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody got any questions for Hudson? Okay.
It seems they're asking for us to adopt a proclamation.
Yep. And, I mean, there's no, it doesn't look, it's a consideration in trying to keep our skies dark. And I mean, I think it's, I know like the west field of Babbitt right now, if you just go a half mile in one direction from the town, you have dark skies. It's a, because the town is not as bright as we think it's kind of bright when you're in town, but if you go in the middle of the field like that on a good starry night, you don't even realize the town is right here. It's so, what a difference.
Yeah, most people don't have that.
No, I know.
Don't have that at all. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no responsibility or anything that we have to do except to be part of it if we'd like to. I will make a motion to accept the proclamation for it.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Lossing, second by Lassie to accept the proclamation on the Ely Dark Sky agenda there, proclamation. Any discussion?
Yeah, maybe it'll give a little incentive to have them turn down the lights a little bit farther on City Hall.
Yeah,
So I can see.
we did have some of this going on right in town. We got some new lighting fixtures on the front of the building and it lit up the neighborhoods 150 yards away.
Yeah.
So, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, newly elected officials training. Ken F.
There's League of Minnesota Cities they have training for anyone that's newly elected, or I think you can do it if you've already been on the the council even. But I just want permission for the new council, if they want to take this training, that they can take it.
I'll move we let the newly elected officials go to the training if it's their wish to do so.
I'll second that. Discussion?
I think, it's a good training in that, where you've been to training, Dwayne. We've had the new mayor, she's been to training. The one that I can see, Joe's been, I don't know if Joe made training when you took your seat?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's been to training. The only one that hasn't in a long time would be Mr. Fitzpatrick. So, the rest of you, I think it's a little waste of money to send you.
Oh, if I was gonna do anything, it would be the advanced, but I think that, I've learned what a great, phone call away the League of Minnesota Cities is. And basically, a lot of what the training is really pushing you to make that phone call. And not stumble on things that you don't understand or you can't find. It's just, give us a call, we'll help you out. And that's a lot about the training, but I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing against the program, it's an excellent program, but if you have already been through it, John has been out of it for a while, it would be very beneficial for him to go, because it's been a while since he's been on the council, but everybody else has been there, so. Except for Jim, but he hasn't been to training for a long time.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
So,
I would say if the new mayor wanted to do the advanced program, it would probably be beneficial, I would support that.
And it is online training as well.
There you go.
So they have the option. So I'll rescind my motion and offer it for John.
I'll second that.
Motion by Lassie, second by Anderson. To approval of John Fitzpatrick to go to new elected officials
Newly
training.
elected, yeah.
If you'd like to,
League of Minnesota Cities.
if you'd like to.
That is option, or if he wants to attend online, there's registration.
Online stuff has to be completed before you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'd be your option, John.
But, yeah, what he's saying, Jim, is there's a training you have to do before you even go to there. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to do the pre-line online course before you go to the training.
I see. Okay.
There's quite a few of them, actually.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call?
White,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. G, employee vacation rollover.
Okay, that's for me. My anniversary was November 27th, so I received 1 week of vacation. I'm really trying hard to use it all, but I might have like 5 to 18 hours, depending on the next couple weeks, that I might not be able to use. So I was wondering if I was able to roll that over. I'm gonna try to take next Monday off, but it depends.
It's been past practice, I'll make a motion, we go ahead and authorize her back to roll her remaining hours. Usually it's weeks, so
I'll second that.
if she's got it down to hours, that's pretty good.
Motion by Anderson, second by Lassie. Discussion? How many hours? Did you say 5 to 8 hours?
5 to 18 now.
5 to 18?
Wait. No, 13, 5 to 13 hours. It'd be like a day and a half. I think I can do the day, but I'm pretty sure that 5 hours I'm not gonna be able to, but if I can't do next Monday, if something comes up, I won't have that either, so it'd be 13 hours would be the most.
Any other discussion? Do we still have people that are, this brings something, a question to mind. Do we have people working through their lunches?
I did today.
Huh?
I did today.
I'm just, the thing is, I'm basically asking about the office personnel, but when we work through our lunches, then we, you know,
Well, my overtime on the last payroll, I had 2.5 hours that was me working through lunches because there was no one else in the office.
okay.
Kirsten and Sarah were gone. So, yes, we do occasionally work through our lunches.
It's not something that happens for you very often, is it?
No.
I can see occasionally it happening. There's gonna be reasons.
Oh, yeah, you just flex it then.
Yep, and we do try to, so that was after flexing. So that I had, well, and I couldn't flex that week because there was no one else.
Okay, any other discussion? Motion on the table to accept 5 to 13 hours of rollover. Roll call.
White,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. H, Walker Gruhani audit contract for 2024, audit payable in 2025.
It's quite a bit more than it was
Money wise.
last year anyway, but otherwise it's the same.
What's the difference in the money from last year to this year?
Do you remember exactly what we paid this year? We did pay an extra contract, so I think it was a.
It was due to the campground.
Yeah.
it was around 42.
It would be approximately $10,000 more. The sewage plant, that's an additional 4,000, but the PUC takes that on.
Mhm.
So it looks good to me.
I think we've been with
So
them
what
for-
was, figure was last year, how much more?
It was $28,000 last year,
plus-
plus
10,000 that they had to charge us more.
more, and then it was the additional 4,000 for the public utilities, for the new sewer plant.
But it's.
Yeah. And he did say that during that meeting, well, we got a sheet on it that said why he was raising it 10,000.
Well, I know, but that wouldn't be something that they'd be raising this year 10,000, because they shouldn't have to do all the work that they did last year.
We have another department now, so that's why it went up.
It's more in
Oh, because of the
everything,
campground.
everything has gone up. In the grocery store. I'll make a motion that we go ahead and accept Walker Drew and Honey's contract payable in 2025 as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion. So they don't really have a breakdown of this, do they?
Well, if you read
Or
through,
is, am I missing it?
it's spelled very
You were
long
at
report. Kind of goes through exactly what you'll be paying for.
If you read the whole thing, it
Yeah, it's
tells you exactly what they look at.
many,
I
many
thought I did.
pages.
Oh, right here, okay. Well, obviously 39. Any other discussion? Roll call.
White,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. Amendment number 2 to the agreement for professional services between the City of Babbitt and SEH.
We met with the committee regarding West Babbitt and updating the design and getting the project ready for bidding. That was in November. I was asked to put out this for December so we can start that process. So I just felt like this is task that we need to do to get ready, knowing that the city feels like they have a direction with the funding to get this project ready for construction in 2025. So include finalizing the design, getting permits, performing some 4 additional soil borings for the design when we changed it to add a force main and lift station. And then bidding assistance once we have a schedule to go out and solicit for contractor bids. If there's any questions, I can answer them for you. Actual construction schedule will be just determined once we have final notice on all funding. We won't be able to move forward and advertise for bids until we have all the funding in place.
So we're hoping maybe February, March, that we'll hear from IRRB and CDBG about grants. Application for the bonding money is in, so we're heading in the right direction.
I'll move we enter into the agreement with SEH as specified here.
Second. Motion by Lassie, second by Hoheisel, to accept agreement for services by SEH, West Babbitt project.
So,
Discussion?
so I'm not on the project, so forgive my ignorance, but what the hell have we been doing for the last, I mean, I thought we were trying to go out and get money. So we need this to get money?
No.
So why are we, just catch me up to speed then.
We've been sitting on this project for about 2 years.
Yeah, I get that. I've been a part of the council for 2 years, so
Yep.
why are we just now doing this part then if we've had the grant for 2 years?
We didn't have the matching funds.
So do we have, that's what I'm asking, do we have the matching funds now?
We have applied for them. We have 1.5 million applied at IRRR and 250,000 at CDBG.
But do we have the matching funds? We've
No.
applied, but we don't have any funds at this time.
So the decision at the committee level was that this was going to be done regardless. So if we get it done now, by the time they hear from by the grants, you can go out and advertise for bids. Otherwise, you could sit and wait. And then once you get the grants, then do this process, which is going to take several months, and you'll potentially lose your 2025 construction season.
So just question, because I'm not an engineer, so I give you $41,900 to do this right now, and then we don't get the grant money.
Your design is ready and permitted.
So the design is still good for however many years it takes
Yeah.
till we get grant money is what you're
Yeah,
telling
the
me.
permits for the PCA and Department of Health, I think, have like a 3-year expiration. But you're basically, that's what the committee decided, to be prepared for the 2025 window. If you wait until you have your construction, your matching dollars for sure, then this process can take several months and you potentially miss out on that. It gets pushed back another year. And you have been sitting on the bonding spend for 2 years now?
Yeah, it'll be
2.
almost 2 years, yeah.
2 in February.
A large portion of that is actually finalization of the plans.
Correct. It's finalizing the plans, getting the permits, and
So
then,
that's for Ed.
yeah. And then additionally there's the geotechnical in there. We're doing 4 additional borings along the new force main and lift station, which we added late in the design. So that's this geotechnical work that is provided the contractor for bidding.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
White.
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Yes.
Lotsing.
No.
What?
No. Moving on. Approved 2024 ambulance write-offs.
That's a mighty big amount. Just for discussion, I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the 2024 ambulance write-offs for the amount of $175,035.25.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Hoheisel, second by Anderson. To accept the $175,035.25 write-off. Babbitt ambulance service. Discussion.
So if you look at, gives you the number of runs per year, right? So in 2023, 158 runs. We're at 300 and that was 10 on that sheet I gave you. That was on the, when was that? December 10th. I think we've got 12 runs since then. So we're at 324 runs and we're not slowing down. I did 2 last night. Our run volume is increasing by like probably 40 to 50 runs each year in the last 3 years consecutively.
What do we do to collect this? Nothing? We just write it off and we just keep
Well, we're
adding and adding and adding year after year after year, get higher and higher?
We're looking at a way, if there's a way that we possibly can assess this. So we're looking into that right now. This total, usually it's about 50% is written off. This one's a little bit higher because there were some write-offs from actually 2022 that even came in here.
The next course of action is we start taking down social security numbers of all transport patients that we get. And those that don't pay any money, we go after their taxes and we get reimbursed a certain amount of tax. That's the only other option.
They do already get those collections. Yeah, they do.
But I mean, what?
Yeah. And the amounts that get written off, that's all based on Medicare. So it's nothing that we choose.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, you just look at 2016 and the write-off was $84,000. And now we go to 2024 and it's 175.
I bet you the run volume was half.
It is. Look at it. Tells you the run volume.
142 runs in 2016 and 160
No, that's
collectible.
right off of 160.
160 runs.
No, in 2023 we had more than 150. We had like 300 in 2023.
Oh, double the runs.
Yeah, but there's still lots of write-off. I mean, it's a complicated issue.
From what you said from this and what you said earlier when you made that speech about the ambulance, that department is gonna be hurt. I mean, I don't know what else, I don't have the answers for it, I don't.
When I testified on this meeting, I give them last year's numbers and handed it to each of the individuals when I was testifying. And there were senators and representatives both in this meeting, and it took place in Mount Iron. And showed them this document and told them how much how many ambulances we have written off that we could have bought over the years.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're still above water here. And this is where the push comes that St. Louis County needs, Joe was talking about, it needs to be able to assess and get us the money that way. That's the only way we're gonna get out of this, is if they assess all of St. Louis County and divvy out that money. We can't do anything about it Unfortunately, you can send it to the service and they send the collection agency sends a letter to these people, but they can take it, crumple it, throw it in the garbage because they do not have to pay. They do not have to.
Is St. Louis County talking about doing that?
Yes, they have been talking about it and it's still in the works now.
But this is a new conversation since all this came to light just this year, right?
Well, last year, no, it's been an ongoing thing that's.
I mean, the problem's been ongoing, but they seem to address it a little more aggressively, didn't they, in this last?
Well, what they did was the last session, they actually, we have some money that's coming to us, but it was a Band-Aid. I mean, we were
Yeah.
talking $110 million, isn't it? No,
21 million?
21 million is what they, they wanted for this. No, they wanted
No, they
more.
wanted more and they've got 21.
We got 21 million is what, but that's statewide. That's divided between all the ambulance services, but they wanted 100, I believe it was $150 million is what they were asking for to subsidize ambulance. With the 21 million that they got, that's just a Band-Aid. That's a one-time fix. And right now, unless they change anything, they're looking at it again for this next session. But it's something that we're gonna have to, if there is something, they're gonna have to go down and make sure that we testify. And try to get them to push a little bit more and see what else they can come up with. But it's not, it's a statewide thing. When we testified, it was the whole state was, people from all over the state were there testifying. So you had a whole 5 minutes to talk. So.
To your comment, Tony, the runs, like back in 2016, there was 142 written off. This year it's gonna be 160. It's the cost per run that's doubled. Yeah, it's went from 594 to 1,020 in that many years.
Well, our billing amount is much higher than what it was at that time.
Well, that's what I told
That's
you,
what I'm
like
saying, yeah.
in ALS run, that they start out at $3,040 out the gate, $20 a load a mile. We only see $1,040 of that. Now it can change if depending upon the interventions going on the patient, but we still, the 2,000 of that disappears before it ever even comes to us. Where does that money go?
That 160 that you're looking, that's uncollectible. That's not the amount of runs we had.
Well, that's what's, yeah.
No, I think we.
Oh.
No, that's
runs.
the uncollectible runs. Yes, I understand that. Yeah.
So the ambulance did 300 and some runs.
Yeah.
160 of them were uncollectible.
Half you're not collecting for.
Right.
Yeah. So. Any other discussion? Roll call.
White,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Hoheisel,
Yes.
Lasky,
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. Okay, moving to K, Ely Blue Line Arena contract. Contract from the Ely Blue Line. I would just say up here it says Ely Blue Line. Just a correction before it goes too far, Rebecca, you got Babbitt Blue Line down here.
Oh.
Just a Make a motion.
This was approved by the rec committee? Or just,
It didn't go to the rec committee.
it didn't, just for the ice rink.
It's basically the same contract, right? Yeah. So, anyway.
Are they extending this contract? Is
Huh?
this
They
an
have-
extension or they never signed the contract?
They signed one for October, November.
Okay.
This is just for.
Because they didn't know what their future was
They had
looking like.
different hours in October, November, they had more hours.
So they're adding, there's, this we didn't know
They do
what.
every year they have hours.
Right.
They do a couple practices, it's just October, November, they had more since they're
Right.
operating.
They didn't know what their future was looking like at that point, so they couldn't, yeah. So I'll make a motion to accept the contract. So Caitlin can get it signed by them and processed.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Lawson, second by Anderson, discussion. Roll call?
White,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hoheisel.
No.
Lassie,
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. Okay.
I have to say no for something.
Okay, public safety,
No, grant,
public safety hiring.
grant further right now.
Matching fund.
From the recommend matching.
Oh, yeah, matching funds for culture and tourism grant, I guess that's next.
Who's got that?
We applied for a culture and tourism grant through IRB and we were awarded funding,
How much?
33,000,
And we have to match.
yes.
And where do we match from?
That's why we're here.
Well, that was the thing, that was the thing on budget that we talked about.
Yeah,
Caitlin wanted us to put a dollar amount in there, and we couldn't because we didn't know what she was gonna get.
Right.
But the council had decided at that time that
We agreed to it.
for her to put that in, and we would match the grant, whatever it was. Because she thought she was getting 20, we got 30, so the council did make that
Yep.
obligation that we would match that. So where it comes from is creative, but
and this will be for garbage cans, the skate park, and the park.
And the central part,
Yep.
a portion of the project.
So it'll help out multiple things in rec department. So, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, we've got permanent improvement, we have,
well, it'd be permanent improvement, wouldn't it?
I mean, that's part of it.
205 in there.
I would say take it out of permanent improvement because we're improving it. I'll make a motion, we go ahead and accept the 30,000 grant that we took and our 50% come out of the permanent improvement fund.
Second.
Motion by Anderson, second by Hoheisel to do the matching tourism grant funds, taking money out of permanent improvements. Discussion.
If you're taking it out of there, you're buying equipment for the park?
It will go into the overall cost of the park, both the equipment and the installation. The skate park, if the shop class is gonna be working on those pieces, so we'll be purchasing just equipment for that project, and then I'll be helping purchase trash cans as well, for the city and the beach.
And we also have 200,000 for the park project that we got from that tax bill dollars.
I guess I'm just wondering whether equipment would be considered permanent improvement.
Right.
I think maybe a park probably could, but garbage cans wouldn't be able to.
The way I looked at it, Jim, is we're
Well, yeah.
improving that area, that's why I
Yeah.
said, we're improving our park area. And it's gonna be a permanent thing, hopefully,
Yes.
for a while, at least.
I mean, parks aren't, buildings aren't permanent either, so I guess it's,
You got Mitch on the phone yet? Does he have an opinion or is he still there?
Mitch, you there?
Yes. Might be napping, but my phone's on.
I'm here, go ahead.
Mitch, I'm just questioning, when you have permanent improvement funds, can you use those to buy equipment?
When you had to say that again, Jim.
Gonna come up with a matching fund for the rec, okay? And, they're gonna take 30,000 out of permanent improvement. Now, and some of it is to purchase equipment, playground equipment and that. Is that considered permanent improvement?
Well, yeah, the answer to that would be if it's a fixture to the ground. In other words, if it's something that is essentially a fixture that's attached to the land, then that's what we would typically call a permanent type, that's a permanent improvement.
Okay, that's all I needed to know, Mitch.
Yeah, so as long as it's affixed to the land, like your house would be, then that's considered a permanent improvement to the land.
Okay, thank you.
Do you remember what was the matching for the garbage can? Was that 5,000?
I don't remember the breakdown of what else.
Are they attached to the ground, the garbage cans?
Not all of them.
Some fixture?
Well,
Put
their
a stake in there?
fixture is,
Are they on a post and chained to a post?
We
Close
certainly
enough.
can attach them to the ground. Yep.
Attach them. All right. All right, any other discussion? Roll call.
White,
So what was the full amount that we're gonna give her then?
30.
Be 30 in, out
Where it's
of the
matching,
GI
so
fund.
it's-
30
Yes.
match.
It was a yes.
oh, sorry. Anderson.
Yes,
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. Now, public safety.
We are looking to fill out our part-time roster by hiring Officer Olson. She's full-time with the police department, so we'd be bringing on a casual part-time just to help cover any open shifts that might be available. Worked with her a whole bunch. She's a fantastic officer, and her husband will be moving to that in the next month or two.
safety committee met this morning, and went over this, and our recommendation was to put her on. I'll make a motion to go ahead and hire her as a casual position.
Second.
Motion by Anderson, second by Hoheisel. Do I hear Officer Olson?
What's first name?
Courtney,
Courtney Olson. And she's working part-time right now.
she's working full-time for the police department, but will be.
Should be a part-timer for
Okay.
Oh, she's working full-time for EDA, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
And the nice thing is they're moving into Babbitt, so,
Nice.
great.
Another resident.
yeah, it helps us out all the way around.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
White.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. Okay. Next council meeting will be held on January 7th. I think we got everything covered here. At 5 o'clock. Everybody have a happy and safe holidays going forward. And motion to adjourn.
Don't move.
Motion by Lossing, second by Hoheisel to adjourn at 6:11. At 6:11, we will open the meeting of the Economic Development Authority. We're meeting. Roll call. Call meeting order. Roll call.
Anderson.
Yes.
Hoheisel.
Yes.
Lassie.
Here.
White.
Yes.
Lossing.
Yes. Here. Public input. Hearing none. Approved minutes of regular meeting held on November 12th, 2024.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Motion by Anderson, second by Lassie to accept the minutes. The meeting November 12th. Additions and deletions, seeing none. Loan update.
Everyone's up to date other than one, which Becky has been in contact with the attorney about as they have passed away.
Yes.
I'll have
What's the
that.
balance on that? I guess it's right here.
Yeah, there's 3 of them, I think.
There's 3 of them.
Okay,
Can't really do nothing.
No.
until-
any unfinished business? Hearing none, new business? Hearing none. Motion to adjourn,
Motion.
second by White.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch.
too,
Happy
Mitch.
holidays.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.